Hi friends, welcome back to the new series. In this series, step by step, we'll learn about the EcmaScript. So basically, this is a small introduction video and we'll discuss about the basic things, and I will show some introduction part of this ES6. So the first things, there are a few questions regarding this topic. So what exactly EcmaScript? Is it a simple part of JavaScript, or is this a new technology, or what are the uses, or even what's the relationship between the JavaScript and EcmaScript? Okay, so I'll give you all answer now. So to know about these things, we need to go back the few decades. So we need to go 1997. So when the first EcmaScript was released. So this is the Wikipedia of EcmaScript and EcmaScript version history. So before that, why EcmaScript is appear or created? So that time in the 1997 or the earlier, that time we have only two browsers. One are Netscape and another was simple Internet Explorer, right? So that time Netscape follows the JavaScript and the Internet Explorer only support the JavaScript. Okay, so the basic problem where if any developer wants to create any application, so they need to write separate code for different browser. So this was the big hectic or big drawback, and it takes lots of time and efforts, right? So to resolve this problem, to resolve this confusion, that time they set a common standardization and created a new type of client-side scripting, that is the EcmaScript, right? And its first releases on the 1997. Okay, and after that it's upgrading some things, and it's released in 1998, 1999, and suddenly after the 2013 it disappeared. That was the abandoned because due to the political difference concerning language complexity. Many features proposed for the 4th edition have been completely dropped. Okay, and there are some are inappropriate into the 6th edition, right? So now after some years in the 2009 they appear in the EcmaScript 5 edition, then 5.81 edition, and finally we're going to learn about the EcmaScript 6 edition. After that, if you check, in every June they releases one version. Even in the June 2021 we are using the EcmaScript 12. So why we learn EcmaScript 6? So basically after the 5th edition there is a huge upgrade on the EcmaScript series, and it releases on the 2015. That's the reason it is calling as ES6 or EcmaScript 2025. And it's getting very much popular now for latest application. Basically these are using and getting very nicely response, and it's easily working with the latest technology like Angular, Nodes, or you can say the React. Okay, so all of these places it's using very much. And if anyone goes for interview, basically they will ask question about ES6 because there are lots of upgrades and some standardization methods, right? So what we'll get in the EcmaScript? So we'll get a lot of things, and in this series we'll discuss about each and everything like variable declaration process, and then templating, parameter passing, and spread operating concept. And for more details, which is very important, this is the object oriented concept we are getting in the EcmaScript series also. So we'll learn about the class object concept, we'll learn about the constructor destructor concept, even inheritance, polymorphism, and finally we will learn about the promise. This is the very important things and interesting also, and nowadays it's working very well. We'll learn about the promise, then asynchronous await, and all related things about the EcmaScript, right? So if we just cover EcmaScript 6, then we can understand all the related things, and after that in every edition they are hardly changes, hardly upgrades, right? So we need to clear the concept of EcmaScript 6 and then we can discuss about the upgrades. So first we'll create the complete playlist and each day we'll release a tutorial on each topic and we'll cover the whole things. Alright, so next day we'll directly go to the coding part and we'll declare about the types of variable declaration and its uses. So we'll declare about the var, let, constant, okay, lots of things and their difference. So friends, please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video. Thanks for watching this video. So friends, we are discussing about the EcmaScript, that is the ES6, or you can say the EcmaScript 2015 as per the release date, right? So in this video I am going to discuss about how to declare variable into the ES6 or EcmaScript series. So simply just create a script tag and here I just want to console some things, that is console dot log, and suppose I want to console the hello, okay, and if you just go here you can see, so just open the console and inside the console section you can see hello, okay. So let's declare a variable. So basically in this video we are going to discuss about how to declare variable, that is using var, then let and then const, right? So in the three way we can define the variable. So let's use the var first. So if I just go here and create a variable, the variable name, suppose var name equal to something, so Somo is my name, Somo, so var name equal to Somo, and just print this, okay. So let's see the difference. So I am declaring the variable with the var, and if I just go here we can see the output, that is Somo. And if I change these things, so just make this var to let, so what will be, then refresh this, you can see the same output, that is Somo. That means there is no difference between var and let for now, right? And if I just change this as const, okay, so you can check, so also we are getting the Somo. So basically in the three way we can define variable. So what is the difference between these three? Okay, so I will show you simple three example to define you what is the difference between these three things. So all are using in different purpose, so all are JavaScript, but there is some special character of var, let and const. So let's see what is the main difference. So suppose if I define this var name equal to Somo and refresh this, we are getting the Somo. But if I just go again and redeclare the variable, the var, and this time I am defining the name, suppose Naskar, this is my title, okay, and if I just refresh this we can see the Naskar. That means the second name is appearing here, it is replacing the first name, okay. And if I just do this same for let, so what will be, so if I just write here let and just check this, then you can see the Somo as we are seeing these things. And now if I just do these things, so we are declaring this as let, then what happened, so just refresh this, so you can see the uncaught syntax error, identifier name has already been declared. That means in a scope, suppose this is the scope, this is the global scope, I am declaring in the script is the body, this is my DOM, and in the same scope we cannot define same variable with let, okay. So once you remove these things and let name equal to Somo, and we can reuse these things. So if I now just go here and refresh this, so we can see the Naskar. That means here also overriding the name, but it's not like same as var. So if I use the var here, also we can redeclare the var, but once we use the let we cannot redeclare. Same like if I just use the const, so just use the const and name, so we can see the output, that is SOMO. But if I now just going to override these things, that is same, just write the name equal to something else, so suppose write Naskar, right? Then just refresh this, then we'll get the error assignment to constant variable. That means constant means we cannot redefine the value, or we cannot redeclare the value, or we cannot override that value also. So the basic difference is, for var we can redeclare or redefine all the things and also reinitialize for var, but for let, once we declare a variable we can override, but we cannot redeclare this variable. And for constant we cannot redeclare as well as reinitialize the variable. This is the first difference. Okay, so now just go to the second difference. So I am going to show you the second example, so by these things we can understand the what is the second difference of var, let and constant. Okay, so let's go. Suppose I am creating another variable, that is suppose course. Okay, and I am just printing the course, right? And if I now just check this and refresh, so it is undefined. Okay, this is simple, we cannot define, we just declare the variable, that's the reason it's undefined. Okay, great. Then if I just add this here let, then what happened? Also obviously it will be the same output. I am refreshing and it's showing undefined. Okay, so for var and let it's getting the same output, but if I just use the const here, right, so it will throw some error, that is uncaught syntax error, missing initializer in constant declaration. That means for constant type variable we need to declare the value instantly when we are declaring, right? So for constant we need to define or initializing value in the same time when we declare the constant. So here if I just write ES6, then we can see the value will appear, right? So these are the second difference. So what are the third difference? So the third difference about the scope concept. Okay, so let's create a logic and we will see. So first create a loop, and this loop will always be true. Okay, so by default I am creating this, always the loop will be true, means the true functions, that means the if condition will execute. Simple, here I am just consoling console.log something, and I am declaring a value, that is var equal to name, and assigning value the name equal to show, right? And I am just consoling these things into the scope, into the if scope, or I am just consoling these things from out of the if scope. So let's see what happened. So for var I think this will print 2 times. Yes, we are getting this 2 times. Alright, it's good. If I just add this here, the let, so what happened? So if I just refresh this, we are getting the SOMO, but that should not be. I think this is the cache problem. So let's rename the variable name. So I am just adding the name 1. Okay, so let's resolve the cache problem. So just refresh this. So here we can see the SOMO, right? So it's basically printing from here, but for this it is getting error. This uncaught reference error, name 1 is not defined. So this is actually the third difference. So if I declare a variable in var, that can be accessible from global, from anywhere we can access, but if I just use the let, it can be accessible only for that scope only. From outside it cannot be accessible. If I declare this in outside, then we can use this from the outside, otherwise we cannot use this. So now the next things, if I declare as constant and I'm changing the name, that is name 2, also name 2 and same name 2. then let's see what happens. So just refresh this. So the same error, the SOMO and uncoded reference error name2 is not defined. That means constant value also can be get from that scope only, but outside we cannot access this value, right? So this is the main three difference between var, late and constant. I think you will understand, and please comment if you have any comments about this video. I will reply you as soon as possible. So next day I am going to discuss about another topics, that is the string handling in the EcmaScript 6, right? So please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Hi friends, welcome back to EcmaScript series. So in this video we are going to discuss about the template strings, or you can say the template literal, right? So basically there is some methods, or you can say some rules to handle the string inside the EcmaScript. So let's take an example and to clear it more. So basically when we will discuss about the EcmaScript, we will always discuss with the JavaScript. We will always relate both things, right? So that we can understand what is the basic difference between the JavaScript and EcmaScript. So let's take a variable, suppose late name, and last day we have discussed about what is late, what is the var, and what is the difference between these two things, and what is the constant. So if you don't see this video, please see from my playlist. The links are provided in the description section. Suppose the name is Shomo, that's my name, Shomo, and if you want to print these things, suppose I just consoling these things, so write console.log and simply write here the variable name, right? And if you just go in the browser and to refresh this, sorry, we need to open the console, so just console, and we can see the name is printed, right? So that is okay. Now if I want to print these things with the strings, suppose here I just want to write my name is something, that is plus name. So to concatenate we need to use the plus, and to print the string we need to use either single inverted comma or double inverted comma. Okay, so now just check. So we can see the output, my name is Somo. So this is the simple JavaScript. So what is new in the EcmaScript? The thing is, EcmaScript does this thing very easily. They resolve the confliction between single inverted comma or double inverted comma. So let's see how we can print these same things into the EcmaScript. So just comment out these things, and let's copy this thing and paste it here. So this is not a proper way. So to print any value with the string, we need to use the backtick, right? In this way we need to use the backtick, and this is the variable, that is name. So how we can use this? Simply just use the dollar and curly braces. So inside these curly braces we can write the variable. So if you check again, you can see this is the same output. That means the previous one and this one the same output, but the difference in the syntax. And basically this will solve the double inverted and single inverted comma confliction. Sometimes if we start with single inverted comma and then we just write the double inverted comma, sometimes confliction, but all confliction resolves. Now we are using the backtick sign. Suppose you want to add some more string, suppose let email, right? And if you just write this email, suppose my email, that is somowebwork@email.com, and if you just print with these things. So for simple JavaScript, how to do this? So another plus, then space inside here, and let's print the email, and here just write and my email is this, right? So this is the way. But for the ES6, that is the EcmaScript, how we can write this? Simply just write in this way, and my email is, and let's take the variable. So how to do this? So at the rate, then curly braces, open close, and email. So basically this will give the same outputs. Sorry, the at the rate, why not? Sorry, there will not be at the rate, there will be dollar, right? So my mistake. So let's refresh this, so we can get, right? So this is very easy. And if you take some another thing, so let's handle these things with some number. So simply write let number 1. So I am taking two numbers. This number 1 equal to 10, and let's use any sum operation. So let's num2 equal to suppose 20. Now how to do this? So simple console dot log, and just write any string, the sum is, and here we need to write in this way. So add a plus, num1 plus num2. Better if you just write these things into the brackets, right? So it will give the output 10 plus 20 equal to 30. Okay, good. And now if I want to print the same things inside the EcmaScript, so simply write console dot log, and just copy this thing. So just write here with the backtick, right? And simply, so now instead of 30, just write dollar, and let's open and close the curly braces, then num1 plus num2. So how easy is that? So just refresh this, the sum is 30. Okay, so actually this is the small example. That's a reason you are thinking what is the difference and how it looks like easy. But in the large case, when you are actually developing, and if you just habituate with this syntax, you can use this easily. Actually, if you just use for long string or some long text, that time there may have confusion with these things. You can understand as a developer, if you previously use these things, you can understand how these things getting problem. But this time EcmaScript solves this problem. So this is a simple tutorial, and all was the easy things. So next day we are going to discuss about the function. So we'll discuss about functions in EcmaScript. Okay, so please comment if you have any queries about this video, and please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming videos. So each day I am going to publish a video on this topic, and will complete this series. So thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Hello friends, welcome back to EcmaScript tutorial series. In this video we are going to discuss about the function. So basic things we will know about these things. So how to create a functions, how to set a default parameter or some things, right? So first of all, I will create a JavaScript function. So simple create a function, suppose function name is anything, that is suppose test, right? And let's console these things. So simple, just write return and write some message. So instead of test, just write get message, and let's call this message from outside of the function. So get message, and simple here write hi, this is from function. Okay, and let's use the semicolon. Okay, and if you just refresh this, so we can see, so we need to console.log. So we forgot console, so console.log, and inside of this console log just call the get message and refresh this. So hi, this is from function. So we know the EcmaScript, so why not we use the backtick instead of these things? So simple, just use the backtick. Okay, so just right here and refresh this. So we are getting the same output. Okay, so let's add something. or let's pass something into the function parameter. So how to pass this thing? So simple, I am passing the name like Shomo and let's receive this name. Okay, and here just concatenate. So how to concatenate? So we'll use obviously the string literal. Hi, this is from function and my name is the dollar, and inside this dollar we'll use the curly braces, and inside this let's use the variable. So refresh this, we'll get hi, this is from function and my name is Shomo. Cool. Okay, so this is the things how to pass the parameter. Now the thing is, if I just want to add something, so how we can add this? So let's use the sum, and instead of name, suppose num1 and num2, and here simply return the num1 plus num2. Okay, and let's call this sum, and let's pass this 10 20. Okay, so we'll get the output, that is 30. Good. Or simply first check this, if I don't pass anything, so let's, instead of sum, we'll do sum later. So before this we are just doing this thing. So if I don't send anything into the sum function, it's accepting one parameter, that is num1, but I'm not passing anything. So that time what happened? So it's showing undefined, that means it accepting some value into the num1. So if I just pass this, we can see we are getting the 10. Okay, so if I don't pass this, that time I want to set the default value. Suppose if I just use 0, that means if I don't pass anything, that time it will output the num1 as 0. So refresh this, we are getting 0. But when we pass something, then it will not give any 0. So basically it will get the output from the here. So simply write sum 0 and refresh this, we are getting 100. Right? And now if the another variable num2, and I am not passing anything and just calculating these things num2. Okay, and I am only passing one parameter, that time what happened? So it's num, that means this is actually undefined. When we add something with the undefined, that time it will give the output as none. So what may be the solution of this? So let's check what is the exact value. So I'm sure in num2 there is undefined, right? And let's pass the default value, and let's set the default value for num2 also. So just use this 100. So I am passing these things, and it's taking the num1 as 100 and num2 as 0. Or if we just pass anything, it will result 100 plus 50 is 150. Okay, so we can understand how to use function and how the default parameter is working and how to set default parameter, right? So next video I am going to show you some advanced things related to EcmaScript function. We will discuss about the arrow function. So instead of writing all those functions or syntax, we can easily use or handle the function. Okay, so let's see in the next video. So please comment if you have any queries about this video, and please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Bye. Hello friends, welcome back to EcmaScript tutorial series. So in this video I will going to show you the one of the major property we are using in function, that is the arrow function. That means how easily we can write functions. So I will write a simple JavaScript function, and will write the EcmaScript functions, that is using the arrow function, so that we can understand what is the basic difference and why we use this arrow function, and by using this function how we'll get the benefit, right? So let's create a function. So first of all I am creating some functions in simple JavaScript. Suppose function, suppose get message. Okay, and inside here I just consoling these things, console.log, and suppose right here this is simple message, simple message, and let's call this method. So just call get message, right? And now if you just go into the browser and refresh this, we are getting this is simple message. Okay, this is also a simple program, but I am just printing a simple message. Suppose I want to print a message from outside the function, so we are not going to console from here, we are just going to console from here, and we will call the return. So we will use the return so that we can get the output. Okay, this is another simple message. We are getting the same output, no difference. So now if I just want to write this syntax, or if I want to write this function into the EcmaScript, how we can write this. So here I will introduce you the one of the powerful things of functions, that is the arrow function. So how we can use this? So simply I am just commenting these things and I am creating the same function, that's the get message function. So to create the function, suppose let and name the function. So by using this let, or you can use the var also, so let get message, and why we write the function every time, we can simply write in this way function, and instead of all those things we'll just open and close the curly braces, and from inside here we can just return the same things. I'm just copying from the previous. Okay, so here will actually be arrow because this is the arrow function. So by this syntax or by this symbol we can define the arrow function. So instead of these things we can write these things, and if we just simply call these things from here or from outside the function, we can call this. So just go here and refresh this, we are getting the same output, right? So how this difference you can understand. And now the thing is, if you just want to pass any parameter, suppose I want to pass a parameter, suppose I want to pass a name, right? So let's pass a name. Suppose I am passing my name here, and let's receive this from here. Suppose create a variable that is name, and now we can use this from here also. So this is simple message, and my name is, let's use the name, right? So how we can use this? We will use the string literal. We already know about how to use the string literal. So simple, instead of these things I will use the backtick, right? So we know the string literal, so that's the reason we can understand. So if you don't see the previous video, you can see this is the property of the EcmaScript, and here just use the dollar, and inside of curly braces just use the variable, right? So now if you just refresh this, we can see this is simple message and my name is Somo. Okay, so how simple. So if you don't pass any argument, it's using just like a parameter in simple JavaScript. So if you want to pass another parameter, you can pass from here or you can receive from here. Okay, so this is simple example, right? Now the thing is, I'm going to discuss about some more interesting thing. So let's remove these things and I will show you one another things, that is, suppose I am creating a function, so in the JavaScript way. So get circle area. Okay, so basically I am going to get the area of a circle and I will pass the radius from here. So simply I am declaring the r, and let's use a constant. Okay, so also we discussed about these things, how to define the constant, and let's constant equal pi, and we know the value, that is 3.14, and let's return the area, right? Return area, so just use pi and just r into r, right? So what is error? So spelling mistake, right? So now if I just consoling these things, so console log, and let's call the function that is get circle area and just pass, suppose I'm passing the radius equal 5, and let's refresh this. So we'll get the output, that is the area of a circle. So if I now just going to write these things into EcmaScript or EcmaScript series using the arrow function, so how we can do this? So simple, let create another function, that is get circle area. I am using the get circle area 2, and in the same way I will pass a parameter to the function. So this is the function parameter argument, and I'm using the same, that is r, and let's use arrow, and inside this we'll write the same logic, right? This is the same logic, and finally I am calling these things, right? And this time the area is 2, get circle area 2. So just refresh this, we'll get the same output. This is exactly same like JavaScript. So this is the EcmaScript concept and EcmaScript syntax using the arrow function. So how simply we can write these things, you understand, right? And if we want to write any inline function, just like if I just calculate these things pi r into r, then we can directly return from the inline, so we don't need to even write the curly braces also. So how we can write this? Create another function, get circle area 3. So just create this, get circle area 3, and let's create the argument and use the arrow, and here just use the let, and simply I am receiving the parameter and I am calculating the area of the circle. So 3.14, and we are getting r into r, right? And let's call this. So just copy this thing and let's use get circle area 3. Also this is 5, okay? And let's refresh this. So we are getting the same output. So the limitation of this function is this time the function should logic. So this time the function logic should have an inline, that means in a single line. Otherwise, if I have multiple lines, then we can simply start this curly braces, and within these things we can output or we can write our logics, okay? So actually if I don't use the curly braces, this time it will directly return. So we can understand how to use the arrow function in EcmaScript, and how to create the inline function, and how to create our general function, that means multiple logics, multiple statements, anything, right? So hope you will like this video, and if you have any queries about this video, please comment in a below comment section. Next day we are going to discuss about another interesting topic of EcmaScript, that is we'll discuss about the spread operator, okay, right? So friends, please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Hi friend, welcome back to EcmaScript tutorial series. So in this video we are going to discuss about the spread operator. So this is the completely new things. Basically you can see the spread operator, you can see you can use by triple dot, okay? So we'll discuss about the spread operator in EcmaScript. So the basic things is, suppose why you need a spread operator. So let's take an example. Suppose let array 1 equal to, suppose I'm taking a variable, some elements into the array. So suppose 10, 20, 30 or something, right? So these 3 elements, right? And I have another array, let array 2 ar2, and let's in the array 2 we have suppose 5, 15, 25, right? So the requirement is going to display the both array at a time. So to display the array, so we're going to use the console log. So simply if I just write console log array 1, and let's save this and refresh, so we can see there are 3 array, but I want to display the array 1 and array 2 togetherly in a single array. So I want to create a new array, and inside that array I can see this. So how can we do this? So for this we need spread operator. So let's take another array and create a new array with the array 1 and array 3. So how we going to do this? So simply just write here array 3, and inside the array 3 I just want to call array 1 and array 2. How can I do this? So simply triple dot, this is the operator, array 1 comma dot 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 array 2, right? And now if I just refresh this, we can see the 6 elements is 10, 20, 30, 5, 15, 25, and you can see the order. So this is the array 1, it's coming 10, 20, 30, and this is from the second array. So if you want to see the array 2 result first, you can use this array 2 first, and then we can use the array 1, and let's refresh this, we can see the orders change. So first array 2 and then array 1, right? So the basic purpose of speed operator is to merge the array. So multiple elements we can add in a single array, or multiple array we can add in a single things, right? So how we can do this? So let's take a real life example, or let's take a program so that we can understand it more better. So first of all, let's create a function, and from inside the function I will pass this array or speed operator. So how can I do this? So speed operator, suppose sum. So this is for a real JavaScript program. So suppose to sum, I want some elements, suppose A, B, C, and to get the result we need to sum this. So to sum this, console log, and inside this let's sum. So A plus B plus C. Okay, so let's call the function, that is sum, and let's pass 10, 20 and 30, and if you now just refresh this, we are getting the result, that is 60. Okay, so now let's take an array, suppose let array 1. Okay, and inside the array we are just passing these things 10, 20 and 30, right? And instead of these things we just pass the array 0 and then array 1 and array 2. So just comma array 1, array 2, right? So now just write it 2 and this is 1. Okay, and if you just refresh this, we will get the same output, or if I just change suppose 35, then we'll get the different output. Okay, so the thing is, first of all we are passing direct value, and then we are passing the array, but actually these are passing the value. Actually array, the value is coming from array. This is array, the first position, second position and the third position, right? So all are the simple in JavaScript. So what is the use of array? This thing, suppose if I want to add another number, suppose I am using the D here, so the thing is we need to pass the D, and we need to pass the fourth element. Suppose I am passing the 4, suppose I am passing the 5, and then array 1 and then 3. Okay, so refresh this, we are getting. So in this way, if I want to sum more than 10 or 12 or multiple numbers, suppose there is 100 of students and I have to sum of each numbers, so will I pass this through in this way? This is absolutely wrong. So to solve this problem, the EcmaScript, the speed operator concept is appears. So here we need to simply just pass the sum, and we need to pass the array, right, with the speed operator, triple dot, right? And if I just check these things, we are getting the same output. This is absolutely amazing. So instead of these things, we can write these things. So let's handle some things with the string type data. So simple, I am just creating to array. Suppose let the array name is suppose page. Okay, and here I am just passing some things into the page array, that is vegetarian. So suppose peas, and suppose I am passing the carrot. Okay, and then I want to pass some suppose beets. Okay, and I will create another array. So let non-veg. Okay, for non-vegetarian. Okay, so non page, and here I'm creating, and here I just use the chicken, and we can write here mutton. Okay, so both are actually the foods. So how we can merge these? So simple, if I just consoling these things and I want to make a common array, and from that array we can get all those things. So simple, here just write the triple dot veg and triple dot non veg. Okay, and let's see. So we can get the peas, carrot, beets, chicken, mutton, right? Even if I don't want to create a new array and I want to merge this array into here, so how can I do this? So let's console this first. So console log non-veg and refresh this. So we are getting chicken and mutton, and I want to push this veg array after the non-veg. So this time inside the array itself we can use these things. So triple dot veg, and just refresh this, we are getting all the 5 things. So if I want to push anywhere, and we can add this anywhere, so simply write here veg, and we can see these are pushing into the chicken, then the 3 non-veg things, sorry, the veg things, and after that the non-veg. Okay, so this is the very interesting concept of spread operator, and we can use randomly anywhere inside our application. So when you are developing, actually this will need many times, so it will reduce the code, and this will reduce the extra looping also. So if you want to make this 2 array merging, then you need to create loops, and somehow in the side the loop you need to create a new array by that loop, but it reduces the time and it optimizes the speed, right? So hope you like this video, and if you have any queries about this video, please comment in the comment section. So next day I am going to discuss about the another things with the 3 dots. So there also have another things for a REST parametering, right? So we'll discuss about that things in our next video. So please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Hi friends, welcome back to EcmaScript 6 tutorial. So in this video we are going to discuss about the REST operator, that is the triple dot. Actually we started discussion about this triple dot operator from the previous video. We discussed about the spread operator. Okay, so in this video we are going to discuss about the REST parameter, right? So suppose in the simple JavaScript, if I want to do something, suppose I'm creating a sum function, right? So let's function sum. Okay, and if I just want to sum something, so write console log, and here I will just print the value of a plus b. So we'll get a b value from the parameter, and let's a plus b, and let's call this function from outside of the function, right? So console log, so not console log, sum a plus b. So for a I am passing 10, and for 2 it's 20. So let's console these things. So we are getting 30. Easy. Okay, so let's, if I want to add some extra data, suppose I want to add with 30, and we have to pass this data also. So let's use C, and here also let's use C. Okay, so we are getting the output. So in this way, if I want to add the multiple data, we have to pass the multiple, but this is the problem. So if I have hundreds of records or hundreds of numbers, then will I pass this in this way? So it will take much time, and it cannot be controllable, right? So how can I do this? So EcmaScript solves these problems. So instead of these things, we can get the result using the triple dot, and take a variable, suppose x, right? And if I just print these things, let's see what is inside this. So just consoling these things and refresh this, we are getting all data as a array format. So problem solved. So if I get data in the array format, we can do anything. So let's use the sum operation. So let's take a result equal to by default 0, and let's sum with these three things. So just use a for loop. So we have array, so we can use loop, but in this series we have not discussed about the loop. We will discuss later, but for now the basic things, that is I equal to 0 and let's I, and it will go until the max length of this array, so x length and then I plus plus. Okay, and inside here just do the logic. So simple result equal to result plus the value. So what is inside this? So x I. Okay, so let's take let. Okay, so before add, let's see what is inside these things. So just comment this, and I don't need this, I don't need this also. So simply console dot log and just print this. Okay, so if I print this, we can get a simple value just like variable. If I just print x, y, z, anything, we are getting in this format. So just add this, right? So just undo. Okay, and let's print this. So actually the loop is doing whatever the array is getting, it's creating a loop, and inside this loop it's adding. So by default the result is 0, and from this 0 always it's adding until the loop's length exits, right? And refresh this, we are getting the total of 60. But this time if I want to add some more things or some things extra, we don't need to pass this, or we do need to consider about these things, right? So easily we can handle this. So just refresh this, we are getting the output. So you can understand how it solved the time and how this functionality, right? So I think you can understand this video. So if you have any queries about this video, please comment in the below comment section. So next day we are going to discuss about the array destructuring, right? So this will going to be a very interesting video. So please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Bye. Hi friends, welcome back to EcmaScript tutorial series. So in this video we are going to discuss about the array destructuring. Okay, so first things, what is destructuring, right? So destructuring means to break down a complex structure into a simple parts. Okay, so suppose if I just take an example with array, so there are many parts. Suppose for index 1 2 3 4 there are many index. So these are the parts of array. So the purpose of destructuring is to break down this complex part into a simpler parts. Okay, so there are some special syntax, some special rule for that. We need to follow some steps for that. Okay, you can extract any small fragments from array or object. So in this video we are going to discuss about how to use destructuring with the array. Okay, so let's see few examples so that we can understand better. Okay, suppose in simple JavaScript how we can write a array. Suppose let take an array. So the array is suppose user array, right? And inside the user array just define some value. So suppose showmo my name, and suppose my email showmo@email.com, and suppose my phone number something, right? So this is number, we don't need to write in inside the invert comma. Okay, so if now we just going to display this output, how we can display this? Simply if I just console log and let's see user, right, and just refresh this, we are getting the output, that is the complete array, right? So this is the concept from JavaScript. So now if I just going to print these things, or if I going to print simple email, how you can print this? So we need to use let name equal to user 0, and in the same way just copy this and paste it 2 times, and simply for email that is 1, and for phone number this is 2. So we need to take define variable for this and we can use this, right? So if I just write here email, so we can see the email is appear. So this is the long process. In EcmaScript we will not doing this type of things. We will simply create another variable. So let's comment out these things instead of that things. So I just commenting out, so let, so name, email, phone, okay, and the whole things will say it equal to user, right? Now if I just want to print simple email, so just refresh this, we are getting the email. If I now just going to write this name, so we can print the so, okay, so this is the name. So this is simple. Now one thing here, you can see there is 3 and there is 3 index or 3 value inside this array. So that should be always match. If not match, then what happen? Suppose there are only 3 and I am suppose calling here the age, right? And if I just going to print these things, what will happen? So basically this will simple as undefined, as there is no value for age. And if I just do this reverse, so simply if I just write here 20, and by this array we cannot get the 20, so we will get only value from this name, email and phone, okay, so we cannot call this 20, okay. And the another things, for suppose there is age and we are not providing any age, that time if I just going to refresh this, we are getting undefined. We can solve this problem by using the default parameter. Suppose anyone not providing age, so simply inside here we can set the default value, suppose 0, okay. So if I just refresh this, we can get 0. If the age is provided, if I provide the age here, suppose 20, then we will get output 20. It is like just function. If I check the function tutorial, you can see we set the default value for parameter, we can set default value. The same way inside here also we can set the default value, right? If not age is provided, then by default we will get 0 as we are setting this, okay. So we are getting the output, okay. So this was for simple array. So there is only some values. Let's try with some complex structure. Suppose if I just going to handle with multidimensional array, so how we can do this? Simply I just going to create another array inside this array. So here simply write suppose apple, and let's take some fruit name, right? Banana, and let's take another name, suppose mango, okay. So there are 3 fruits. So how we can get the value from apple? Simple, just like in the same way there is 3 value, so we are using the 3 value. So here I am taking the another array in this way. Suppose I am taking the apple inside the fruit 1, so it will print the fruit 1 for apple, then fruit 2 comma fruit 3. So right here 2 and 3, okay. If I now just going to print the mango, then if I just write here the fruit 3, we can get that is the mango, right? And also we'll get the phone number. If I just write this phone number, so it will work just like a simple array, and it is multi-dimensional array, right? So all are okay, and I think you will understand how it's working. So basically this is all about the array destructuring, so we can understand how it's working. So next stage we are going to discuss about the another things, that is the object destructuring, okay. So it will basically looks like same but little difference. I will discuss about each and everything, and I think this video will understandable. And if you have any queries about this video, please comment in the comment section. So please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Hi friends, welcome back to EcmaScript tutorial series. So last day we discussed about the array destructuring. In this video we are going to discuss about object destructuring. So basically what is destructuring and why we need this? So very simple. Destructuring means to break down a complex structure into smaller parts. Means suppose if I have a large object or large array, and from that things I want to get some values. So how easily we can get that things? Okay, so you can extract any small fragments from object. So in this video we will discuss about that thing. So let's see some examples so we can understand better. So let's take an object. So suppose I am creating a object, that is user object, and object will look like this. We need to start with these curly braces, and inside here I just said suppose name, and name Shomo, that is my name, and then I just want to set my email, that is email equal to shomo@email.com. so it is demo email, shomo@email.com, and let's use the phone. So simply just write random number. So this is my phone, right? And now if I just going to print these things, how we can print this? So simply if I just want to get the name from this user object, so simply write console log, and from inside just use user dot name so that we can see the name. It is consoling. And if I just want to see the email, so we can get email in this way. So basically this is simple JavaScript concept. Now if I just want to use this concept with the destructuring methods, means if I just want to use the benefits of these things, how we can do this? So instead of these things, if I just write here suppose let, and here I just define that is name, email and phone, and simply just assign the whole object, and we can get name value directly from here, right? So if I just simply use the name, we can see the name. If I just want to see the phone, simply we are getting the phone, right? That means there is 3 elements, and also we need to use this 3 element. Suppose if I just use the age here, so right here age suppose 13. Okay, we cannot get access of age until we create a 4th parameter, suppose age. So now if I just use the age, we can get access of age, right? But if I not provide the value of age, that time if I just going to print these things, how you can get? So this is undefined. So here the thing is we can define here just like a default parameter. So by default I am setting the age equal to 0. So if I not get the value of 4th parameter or age, we can set the default value and we can get the output. Okay, so this is very simple concept. Okay, now the one things, so just to remove the age, I am taking only 3 things. Suppose I am getting the phone here, so if I just write here phone and refresh this, we are getting the phone. But I don't want to use direct these things. Suppose this object will come from anywhere or any backend, and we don't want to see the backend key or the backend things, right? So how can we set this? We can set the aliases. So how we can set this? So instead of phone, I just write here the mobile. Okay, now if I just use this mobile here, we can get the output. So we are getting the same output if I write this also. So in this way we can set the aliases also. So this was a simple example with object. Let's use multi-dimensional object. Suppose if I just want to create another object, so just fruit, and inside here I just want to create another. So simply just going to create suppose fruit 1, so just use inside the inverted comma, that is fruit 1, and let's the first fruit name suppose apple, and in this way just create another 2 3 So right here fruit 2 and then fruit 3, and here write suppose banana, then mango, anything. Okay, so just for example, so right here mango. So how we can access these things? Simple concept. So here instead of these things we are getting the fruit parameter. So if I just simply write here the fruit and let's console these things, we are getting the full fruit object. So if I just refresh this, we are getting the apple, banana, mango. That means inside the fruit we are getting the full object, right? So how we can get only mango? So simple. So inside the fruit we will just create another things, that is the fruit 1, fruit 2, fruit 3. So in this way just write this fruit 1, fruit 2, fruit 3. So simple 3 and 2. I just want to get the value from mango, so this is fruit 3. So we are declaring this as fruit 3. So just copy this and paste here and refresh this. So we are getting mango. So this is very small concept but useful concept. These are using basically any advanced technology for front end, like if I just want to use a Vue or React, that time we can get this type of EcmaScript concept. So you will understand that time, right? So keep in mind all those things it will need further. So in our next episode maybe we can start the TypeScripting and then we can go to the Vue or React. That time all the concept will need, right? So this is all about the object destructuring, and if you have any questions about this video, please comment in a below comment section. Next day we are going to discuss about another important things. There's the another features you can say. I am going to discuss about two functions, that is find and FindIndex. Basically it will applicable on the array, so we will discuss about that things. Okay, so please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video. Thanks for watching this video and comment me how you like this tutorial. Bye. Hi friends, welcome back to EcmaScript tutorial series. So in this video we are going to discuss about some special function on EcmaScript, that is the find and FindIndex, the two functions, right? So both are special type of function. We'll learn why and when we'll use this. So we'll create a example and we'll discuss each concept, so right? So first of all let's create an array. So let's array, suppose my array name is array, and let's enter some value, suppose random value, suppose 5, 8, suppose 4, 10, 2, 15, anything, so right? So this is my simple array. So now I am going to use the find function. So actually the find function is to find the value. Suppose if I want to find a value that is less than 10, right? So less than 10 there may have 5, 8, 4, 2, but it will give output the first occurrence. That means when we will use a find function and we'll add a condition, the value should be less than 10, then we'll get the first output. Okay, so in the same way if I just write the find function on the 4, that means the value should be less than 4, that time it will get the output of 2, right? So let's use this and we'll understand, right? So suppose I am creating, suppose let result, and here I will create a closure function. Suppose my array name is array dot find. Okay, and inside here I will just create a closure function, that is function, and we will pass the value. Suppose here write value, and here I just want to add a condition, that is return and value should be less than 5. Okay, and let's console this output. So console dot log, and let's print the result. So now output will be 4, but here you can see the value less than 5 is 4 and 2, but the 4 is first, so it will return the 4, right? So let's refresh this. So we are getting the output, that is 4. So simply if I just want to change, suppose if I want to check the value that is less than 10, that time it will give the output as 5. right? Because this is the 5 is the first occurrence. So this is simple find function. So if I just want to use the find index, so basically it will return the index of the first occurrence, means is same concept. So just closing this for now, and let's use the same function here, and let's undo the closing check. Okay, so this is the find function and I want to use the find index. Okay, so that time the value is less than 10, that is the output will be the 0. It is the first occurrence, that is the less than 10, that is 5, and the index of this 5 is 0 position, that is the array 0 1 2 in this way. So the return will be the 0, right? And if I just use the value that is less than 15 or less than 4, so just use this less than 4, and that time it will return the value 0 1 2 3 4. Okay, so refresh this, it will get the output 4, right? In this way it is working. So this is the simple concept, and here we are learning the EcmaScript. So the previous video we already discussed about the arrow function, so why not you use the arrow function? So in a simple way we can write this. So just close this again and let's use with the arrow function. So how we can use this? So simply let result, and here just write array, and I'm using the find function first. So array find, and here in the simply here we can add the condition, that is the value should be less than 5. Okay, so in this way we can write, and now if I just print the result, we'll get the same output. Sorry, uncaught reference error, value is not defined. Here is my mistake, actually we want to use in this way the arrow function. Okay, so this is the arrow function syntax, and just refresh this, we are getting the output, that is 8. So we are using find, so that means it will return the value, right? So now it is getting the result, that is the value which is greater than 5. So the first occurrence is 8, so output is 8. So now if I just make it the less than 5, so if I just refresh this, so we are getting the 4, right? And in the same way we can use the find index also, right? And that time the output will be 0 1 2, right? So this is simply array function. So actually we are writing this in inline, so we don't need to return this thing. So if you want to return, we can write in this way. So simply just use in this way and just write to return this. So this is actually the same things, we will get the same output, right? So this is the arrow function concept, and this is the find function and FindIndex function uses. Okay, so I think you will like this video. So please comment if you have any queries about this video, and next video we are going to discuss about the finding loops inside EcmaScript, right? So please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Hi friends, welcome back to EcmaScript tutorial series. So in this video we are going to discuss about how to use the for in loop inside EcmaScript and how to use with array and object. Okay, so let's take an example. So let user, so I'm taking an array first. So let's user, this is the user array, and let's take some name, suppose John, David, and then another name, suppose Hasi. Okay, so this is the array and these are the values of this user array. So let's see how we can use the for in loop. So first of all, we want to see how we are generally using the for loop. So if I just use the for loop, so let x equal to 0, and then we need to print this thing, so it will execute until the user dot length, and then finally x plus plus, and inside here just consoling these things, console log, and let's print this, right? So simply user and the index, that is x, right? and if I just refresh this, we are getting the value. So this is a simple for loop. So what is the advantage of for in loop? So let's use the for in loop. So here we first need to initialize the value from 0 index or from 0, and then we are counting the length and then increment, but we don't need to write anything if I use the for in loop. So simply just write for and let I am using key in user. Okay, so this is the syntax. So we want to use the in here and we want to create this here. So not get, it is key, right? And let's see what is the output. So first I want to print the key. So let's see what is inside the key. So simple console log, and here just print the key. So here we can see the 0 1 2. So refresh this, so we are getting 0 1 2. Now I want to print the value from this index. So how we can print this? So we need to use the user here, and inside the user we are printing these things, right? So refresh this, we are getting these things. So we are getting exactly same output, but we don't need to write these types of code. So if you write more code, there is a lots of chance to error, so we can use this easily. So we don't need to count the length, or we don't need to initialize these things, and we don't need to increment this. Simply if array has a value, it will execute, right? So it's very simple. So now this was the simple array concept. So if I use these things, or if I just use the for in loop inside object, how we can do this? Simply I am taking the same array. So let's create let user object. So simply here write first of all take a name. So name equal to, or colon, sorry, John, and I'm taking the email of this John. So right here john@email.com, and let's take another. So I'm taking, sorry, right, and let's use the age also. Okay, so age is 30. Now how we can print this? So simply just if I print these things inside here, so user, and let's see, so we can get the full object. Okay, and if I want to print particular, so we can write here the age, so that only age will print, right? And refresh this, so age will print. So how we can print this? Using the for in loop, right? So simply write for and let x, or anything you can write, in the user. So that is the name of the object or array, and here write console log and simply just print the index. So we are getting index here, that is x, and simply inside here just write user x, right? And simply refresh this, we are getting all the value, right? So this actually coming from the previous, and now we are getting all the value, right? So how easily we can do this? So if I just show you how normally we can write, so if I just use the traditional for loop, so just use a for loop, and inside the for loop let's take a variable, that's var x equal to 0, and next we need to write the x object dot keys, and inside the keys we need to pass the object, that is user dot length, and finally we need to increment this. And if I just want to console these things, so console log, we need to write the full things, that is user, and the things, that is the object of full things. So now refresh this, sorry, we need to pass the index also, so simply write x, right? and refresh this, we are getting this thing. So you can understand what is easy. So if I just going to print these things using the for in loop, the simply we can print this. But if I just use the traditional syntax, so we need to write lots of things to print the same things. So what is the benefit, you can understand. So hope you will like this video, and if you have any queries about this video, please comment in a below comment section. Next day we are going to discuss about some interesting things, that is we are going to discuss about some mathematical operations on the EcmaScript, right? So please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Bye. So welcome back to EcmaScript tutorial series. So in this video we are going to discuss about some OOPS concept inside EcmaScript. So basically, what is OOPS, or object oriented concept? So object oriented programming language is a simple programming model, or you can say an organized structure where we can easily maintain and reuse the code. So the thing is, suppose you are working in a certain project and there is some function, suppose there is some calculations, and if you need the same calculation inside the separate places, then you can simply call this. We don't need to write again, so we can reuse the code. So this is the advantage, and there are lots of concepts like today we'll discuss about the class object, then we have a static concept, inheritance, polymorphism concept, and lots of things, right? So we'll discuss later step by step. So in this video we are going to discuss about the class and object. So what is class and what is object? So actually these things are related to each other, right? So without one thing we cannot recognize another thing. So if you understand with a simple example, it will get the more advantage, so it will be more understandable. Suppose a tiger, right? So this is the animal, you can say, and the same things if I just take an example with lion, also this is an animal. So both are the animal, that means this is the class. Suppose me, so I am Shomo, but I am a man. Suppose John one a person, John is man, so we are under man category, right? So basically this is the class. The class is man, the class is animal, or anything like fruits. Suppose apple, banana, mango, there are fruits name, but what is the class? The class is the fruit, right? So this is simply the class, and a class may have properties or methods, you can say functions, and if you want to access these things from the class, we need object, right? So let's take an example. So if I just create one class, so to create a class we need to use the keyword, that is class keyword. So using this class keyword we can define any class. Suppose the class name is user, right? And if I just want to create of object of user class, then how we can do this? So simply use let obj, that is the object. So why we use the let? Actually we can use the const also, so we know that the difference between the var, let and const. So we will not recreate any object of this class, so we can use const also, so it will be good practice. And to create an object we to use another keyword, that is the new keyword. Using this new keyword we can create a object of a class, and after that we need to define the class name, that is user. You can write in this way or you can write in this way also, so it does not matter, you can write anything, so, right? And what can be inside the class? So this is the class, and it closes with a parenthesis, that is the second parenthesis, and you can say this is the scope. So inside these brackets we can write anything, and all will be under the user class scope, right? So inside here, suppose if I just create a variable, so let's create a var name, but inside a class we don't need to declare in this way. That means we don't need to write the var, let or const anything. Simply let's create a variable, that is name, and I'm assigning suppose name, that is John. So the variables is name and the value is John. So in the same way, if I create another things, so before that let's access the name. How we can access name? So we have created the object of user, that is the obj. So I am going to access this name from outside of the class. How can I do this? So simply write console.log and we can get access of name with the object, right? So object dot the property name, and if you just go here and refresh this, we can see we're getting access of John, right? And if I not use the object, then what happened? So we cannot recognize name. That means if I just refresh these things, that time it will not get any output. Okay, so that time it cannot understand from where the name is coming, so we need the object. So this is simple variable. So if I want to create a methods, that is the class can have methods, or you can say the functions. So if I create functions, the normal time, or you can say in general way, if we want to create a function, we need to use the function keyword and then we will create a function name, suppose function details, right? But in the same way, we don't need to write the function keyword inside here, right? So while we cover the Angular tutorial, that time we use that thing, so we don't need to write the functions. Okay, so this is the different things, but in this section I am going to discuss about the class object concept. And if I just going to create a functions inside the class, we simply need to write in this way, right? So this became a function, and also functions have a scope. That means inside this second brackets, or you can say inside this curly braces, we can write anything, and that will be under this details function scope, right? So what we can do here, we'll simply return a statement or message. Suppose I am writing here welcome, right? And if I just want to access these things, same like previous, so we need to write the console console.log and just use the object name, that is the obj, and after that the details, that is the method name. So if you now refresh this, we can get access. Sorry, there will be functions, right? And now print this, we can get the output, that is welcome. Okay, that's simple. Now if I just want to pass a name, how we going to pass this? Simple things. So if I just want to pass some properties, suppose there is a name and I want to display the name from the details, right? So how can we display this? Simply just write welcome space plus. So plus is the things, by these things we can concatenate in JS, and we need to use this name, right? So what is actually this? This is basically refers the current object, here the current property. If I just want to use the current property, current means inside this same class, right? If I just going to access the current object, we need to use this, right? Now if I just going to refresh this page, and we can see welcome John. So now I want to pass a variable inside the function. Suppose the by default name is John, we cannot provide in this time, but here I want to pass a name to the class. How can you pass this? Simply this is the details functions. So let's take a variable, suppose val, okay, or you can say anything. We already declared the name, that's the reason I am declaring val, right? And we just going to override these things. So how you can override? Simply just write this name equal to val. So what we are getting, and now if I just go here, we need to pass the value. Suppose there is name by default John, and here I am just going to pass the name, that is David, and let's refresh this. So we are getting welcome David. So here we are overriding this name also, and we can pass in this way. If I just write another names, suppose Mike, we can pass this, So just refresh this, we are getting. So we can understand what is class and object in JavaScript and how to handle these things and how to create class and how to create a functions and how to pass the variables. I think you will like this video, and if you have still any query about this video, you can comment me in the comment section. And the next day we are going to discuss about the constructor concept. So this is another concept of object oriented JavaScript, and please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Bye. Hello friends, welcome back to EcmaScript tutorial series. So in this video we are going to discuss about the constructor concept in EcmaScript, right? So last day we discussed about class object concept. So if you don't see that video, I recommend you please see the video from my playlist. Links are provided in the description section. So the constructor, what is constructor? Actually constructor is such kind of thing or such kind of functions of which priorities most from any others, right? So if I simply take an example, we can understand it better. Actually these functions will call automatically when you create any object, right? So let's create a class first. So suppose my class name, suppose animal, right? So to create a constructor we want to use these things, that is constructor, and inside here we can write anything. Suppose if I just going to console log these things, that is I'm writing hello from constructor, right? Generally if I want to call any function, that time we need to create an object, and after creating object, by using that object we can call this function. But here if I just create a simple object, suppose I am creating object, that is constant object, and create a new animal, right? And that time we are not calling these functions, but if I just consoling these things, we can see it will automatically calling, that is hello from constructor, right? So we don't need to call this. What is the advantage of constructor? So let's take a variable, suppose food, and for food non-veg, so all animal generally non-veg, and let's create another function, suppose details, right? And here I just going to use console, sorry, here you can simply write return, and here write fooding is, and I'm going to use the food here, so simply plus this dot food, okay? And if I just going to print these things, we can use simply obj dot details, and whole things we need to write inside the console log. So simply write console dot log and just print this, right? And if I just refresh this, we are getting, so object dot detail is not a functions, I think spelling mistake, right? So let's copy this and paste here and refresh this. Fooding is non-veg, okay? Now the thing is, here we can set a value. Suppose I am taking another variable, that is name, right? And suppose name by default I am writing here tiger, okay? And here I'm writing hello, animal name is suppose this dot name, and let's pass fooding is this dot food, right? So in this time if I just refresh this, we can see animal name is tiger and fooding is non-veg. But if I just going to display the output for the cow, then what happened? So for the cow is generally veg. So how can we do this? This time the constructor playing a good role or important role. So what is the thing is, here just we can pass the parameter. So here this is the constructor animal, and here I am just taking a value, that is n, or you can say the name also, and you can take the food, and we'll pass the name, suppose tiger, and here non-veg, right? And we are setting this value here. Simply just write this dot name equal to name, and another things, this dot food equal to food. That is good. So if I just go here, we can see the same, animal name is tiger and food is food, but the thing is we can pass another variable, that is we can pass animal name. So different animal name, that is cow, and let's use veg. Okay, so refresh this, animal name is cow and food is veg. That is awesome. And this is the main purpose of constructor, means not a main, another main purpose of the constructor, right? So by using constructor we can set a value and we can get the value and we can dynamic these things, right? So hope you will like this video, and if you have any questions about this video, please comment in a below comment section. And next day we are going to discuss about if my variable is private, then what happen, how we can display or access the private property. So we will discuss about that things. So please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. So welcome back to EcmaScript tutorial series. So we are discussing about object oriented concept in EcmaScript. So last we have discussed about class, object, constructor, and today we're going to discuss about how to access private property using the EcmaScript, right? So if you don't see the previous video, I will recommend you please see the previous video, so you will get better understanding, and the playlist link are provided inside the description section. So to access private and property, how we can use this, so let's take an example and we can understand. So simply suppose I am creating a class, that is user class, and let's take a property. Suppose I am creating a property, suppose name. So name of the user, suppose let's take a name, that is Shomo, it's my name, and let's take a phone number. So the phone number is suppose anything that is integer number, so random number, just add it, right? And if you want to access this property, so how we can use this, so simply just like normal class we need to create a object. So let's create a object. So I am creating a constant, so write constant and create an object. So you can write anything, so for my case I am writing obj, right? And let's use the new and user. Okay, so new is the keyword. By using this we can create an object. So here the spelling mistake, so this is a constant, right? And now if I want to access these things, how we can access this? So to access the property, so simply write console dot log, and using the object we can access this. So simply object, that is obj, this is the object, and the property name is name. So if we just go here and refresh this, we are getting the value. Same like if I just want to access the phone, we can get access of phone, right? So we are getting. And the another things, if I just going to access a functions, suppose I am creating a functions, suppose details, and from inside here I just want to print, suppose console log, here write my name is, suppose my name is, and concat this name, right? So instead of consoling log, I am just going to return this, and we can console from the outside of the class where we are actually calling the class, right? And let's use the details, and here write console dot log and then obj, that's the object name, dot details, and let's use the function as it is function, so we can get access. My name is, so one thing here we cannot get access of name. Why? Because we need to use the another keyword, that is this. Basically, if I want to use the property from inside a function, to use the this keyword, this is basically refers to the current object or current property, right? So here we can get access. The my name is Shomo. All right. Now the thing is, if I just want to get access of the private property, or if I want to change the value from the private, so how we can use this? So here we need to create another functions, and from the functions we can modify this. So here we are actually introduce the getter and setter concept. Suppose my phone number is private, so how to do private? So let's use the hash before the variable name. And if I just going to access these things, so for now I am just closing, and if I just going to access this phone, then we can see this is undefined. That means we cannot access of private property, right? And if I just going to do these things, so here just write object dot hash phone. So now the error is private field phone must be declared in an enclosing class, right? So to get access of these things, we need to use the getter or setter. So simply first create another function, that is get phone, right? And inside here just return this dot hash phone. The thing is, here the phone is not a private. This get phone function can be accessible from outside. Now if I just call this, we will get the output. So just close this line and let's refresh this. We are getting the output. That means we can getting access of private property from here, right? Now if I just want to modify the number, suppose this is my random number, and if I just want to modify this phone number or this private property, how we can do this? So simply another function we to use the set phone, right? And inside here I will just take a simple variable, suppose value, right? And here just set this hash phone equal to something random. So I am just using the value here, and we will set this from here. So simple, just call these functions set phone, and we'll pass the value, so another random number. Now if I just refresh this, so we can see the uncaught reference error, set phone is not defined. So why the set phone is not defined? Actually we need to use the object here. So simply write obj.setPhone. That time set phone can be understandable. So let's refresh this. So we are getting the new value. That means we can update the private property. Here the EcmaScript, or you can say the advanced JS concept, give you flexibility. So here if I just use instead of this, so basically using these things we can understand we are using the getter, or for this here we can directly set this here. So we can use the get for getter and set for setter. So that time you can do the same things. So if we now just refresh this, we will get some message that is type errors, object.setPhone is not a function. Actually this time it will not work as a functions, it will basically treat just like another property. So now closing this, and let's call this like a property. So simply object get phone. So we will get this output. So refresh this, so we are getting this output. And if I just open this and refresh this, same error, that is object.setPhone is not a function. Actually this set phone is a function, but we are using this get. So that time we will just use just like a property. So simply assign some value, right? And it will work as the previous. So simply just refresh this, we are getting the output. Simple. So in this way we can modify the private property and we can access from outside of the class. I think you understand this concept and hope you will like this video. So if you have any queries about this video, please comment in a below comment section. In the next tutorial we are going to discuss about the static concept. So we will create static variable, we will create static methods, and how to use this we will learn step by steps. Okay, so please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Hello friends, welcome back to EcmaScript tutorial series. So in this video we're going to discuss about the static concept, right? So we'll create a static property, we'll create a static method, and we'll use all those things, and we'll know why and how we'll use this, right? So simply just go to the editor and let's create some example, and with the example we can do all the things, right? So first of all, here the object oriented concept. So let's create a class. Suppose the class name is user, and here let's use in random number. So let's test with random number. Suppose I am declaring a class property, that is num equal to 0, right? And if I just going to increment the value, so how we can increment? So let's create a functions and we will do the logic to increment this number. So simply I am creating a value, so the function is get value, and here I am just incrementing this dot num plus plus. Okay, so it will increment and I will print that thing. So console dot log, okay, this num incrementing. And to get access of this property or value from outside the class, we need to create an object. So let's create an object. So constant object equal to, or spelling mistake, object equal to new user. Okay, so object is created. Now if I just going to call this, simple, just call this get value, right? So what is the functions? Get value, and we need to use the object, that is obj dot get value. Then refresh this, we can get 1, right? So if you call these multiple times, so simply write get value, then we can see 1 2 3, that means it will incrementing, right? And we can create a multiple object. Simply I am creating another object. Suppose this time object name is obj1 and this is obj1. I am also calling 3 times. So let's refresh this. So we are getting 1 2 3, again 1 2 3. Actually this is object oriented concept and it will serve the result as per object. Okay, so for each object they are behaving differently. So the thing is, if I don't want to see these type of things, suppose one value is incremented, but after this we cannot see this from beginning, that means from the initial step. I want to see 4 5 6 in this way. However, we can create a new object or new things, but you always incrementing these things. So how we can do this? This time we need to create a static property. So what is static property? So here instead of these things, if I simply declare this number as a static, then just refresh this, we are getting none. Obviously we will get the none, because the another property of static is we don't need to create any object to call any functions. It will call through the class name, right? So let's close these things and let's close these things also, and instead of object we'll simply use the user, right? So this is the class name and simply write this, and obviously you can see the output just like 1 2 3 4 5 6. So the user get value is not a function. Why not a function? Because the variable is static, right? But this function is not static, so we can define this static, right? And let's refresh this. So we are getting the output 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, so this is basically the static property and static method. Now the another thing, suppose let's undo these things. right? So let's undo these things, and here I am declaring this as a normal. Okay, so for previous example, suppose there is a constructor, it may have constructor. So let's create a constructor and just console something. So write console.log, suppose hi from constructor, right? And obviously when we create an object and it will call the constructor, so this is from constructor for object and next one is for obj1, right? So if I use the static, that means we can avoid the constructor calling. So we will directly call through the class name, so we don't need to create defined object. So there we can avoid the constructor calling, right? So simply close these things and obviously close these things. So this time we can avoid the constructor calling. Again we need to define this as static. So as we are defining this as static, that the reason and access through the class, right? So we are getting output. So I think it's very clear to understand, and still if you have any queries about this video, please comment in a below comment section. So in our upcoming tutorial we are going to discuss about the inheritance concept. So this is another outstanding concept, and here we'll learn lots of things and it will be interesting. So please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. কি বাবা এসছো? আওয়াজ করবে না? তুমি কখন এসছো? ঠিক আছে, আওয়াজ করবে না? 5 মিনিট পরে আবার করতে হবে। হ্যালো, চেক। Hi friends, welcome back to EcmaScript tutorial series. Hi friends, welcome back to EcmaScript tutorial series. So in this video we are going to discuss about inheritance concept. So what is basically inheritance? In a simple way, to access some parents data from child class, or you can say so in a simple way, to access parent class data from any child class. So in a simple way, from parent class data, so in a simple way, if you want to access data from parent class into child class, then we need inheritance. Okay, so let's take an example and we can understand much better, and there is some advantage and there is. So let's take an example and we can understand much better, right? So we will create some class here, and there will have some parent class and child class, and we will know how to create this. So simple, if I just go for any simple class concept, so let's create a class. Suppose the class name is student. Okay, so student have some name, so let's create a function. So let's create a function, suppose get name. Okay, and I will pass this name dynamically when we create object. So let's create a constructor, and from inside here I will create the name, or I will pass the name. Okay, so let's take a name from here, right? And I will add this dot name equal to name. Okay, so I am using this, and from inside the getName function I want to print the name. So let's write return name is, and just concatenate these things. So just add a plus this name. Now if I just going to create a object of this student class, then what we can see. So let's create an object, suppose constant, and create an object for student, so obj student, right? And now let's use the new, and let's use the student, right? And we'll pass the name, and we'll pass the name here. Suppose the name is John, okay? And if I just going to call this get name, we can print the output. So simple write console log, and let's use obj, this is my object, dot get name, okay? So simple. So if I just refresh this, we can get, sorry, the get name return the function. So why this? So we need to use the functions here, right? So refresh this. So name is John. So name is John, right? So in a simple way, if I just want to create another function like this, so simple, so in a simple way, if I just want to create another function like this, suppose let's create another function that is teacher. So let's this name, ki holo, let's add this name as teacher. So this is the teacher class, and the same like we will call this, and we will create a object for teacher, and simply write this, and here these things will be the teacher, and this is the object, and here I am just passing the teacher name as teacher1, right? And if you just call this, we can get the name is teacher1. So you think why we create two separate functions for this? Here in the student class there is some special functions, or the functions which is unique for student. Suppose I want to get the age of the student, right? So let's create a age function, and just to return age is, and here I will take another variable that is val, and let's use this dot val equal to val, and let's use this inside here. So age is this dot val, right? And inside here we will create another function into the teacher. So here we will write the experience, right? And now just create a string, or I want to return, so experience is, or you can say this dot val years of experience, okay? Now if I just call this, so simple write these things and create another console. So for student I will just call the age, and for teacher I will call the experience, right? So let's copy this, and here we can see we are accepting two value, and let's pass for student John, their age is suppose 25 or anything, sorry, 25, and let's set the experience for teacher 1, suppose 15, okay? Now let's go here and refresh this. So we are getting name is John, age is 25. This is for student class, and this is from teacher, right? Sorry, this is undefined. Why it is undefined? So let's see why this is undefined. So we need to create a val here also, and let's copy this, okay? So these are separate class. So now we can get all those things, okay? Here is the main things why. So output is okay, but we written same code in defined class, or we are using the same code again and again. So if you check in the teacher section, we have a constructor and getName, and same in the student section we have constructor and getName. So if we add multiple student or multiple teacher, will I add these things again and again? So we can reuse code by using inheritance. Okay, so for this common code, just cut this and let's create another function. Suppose class person. So teacher as a person, student also a person. So let's paste this here and let's remove from the teacher also. Right, so both are the class. Now I want to treat the person as a parent class. So let's use this student as child class, and from the child class we will extend the parent class or person class, right? So same way we will extend these things. Okay, now if I just go here and refresh this, we are getting same output, but we have written less number of codes. Or if you want to modify, or if you want to change some things in a single place, if we change, we can affect all those things. Okay, so this is the reusing of code, and this is the most important part of why we use inheritance. So next things, if there is a multiple class, and for here inside the person we are using the value, but the value is not using inside the person class. So let's separate this. So how can I separate this? So simple, just remove these things and also remove these things. Okay, and now inside the age, let's take a value. So let's take age also, and simply here print the age, and here just pass the exp, and let's use the exp. So this is from the function argument, and we can using this inside the functions. So we don't need to write rec, so we don't need to write so you don't need to write this. So now we will not pass these things, and instead of that things we will pass from here. Okay, so we are passing this as a parameter, and we are using this inside here, and same like we are just receiving these things from the function argument. And again, if you just go here and refresh this, we are getting same output. Okay, so how cool is these things? So you can write multiple things, or if you have any common things, suppose you are going to create any CRUD application, or create, read, update, delete things, the basic things are same. So all places you need listing, and we all places have delete operation, and there is edit or update. So why not we use the common code, and why not we use inheritance concept? So using inheritance concept we can pass these things. Suppose if I just want to, so using inheritance concept we can easily use these things, and we can easily maintain and we can reuse the same codes. Okay, so hope you can understand this code, and if you have still any queries about this video, please comment in a below comment section. Next day we are going to discuss about the so in our upcoming video we are going to discuss about another interesting thing of inheritance related, that is we are going to use the polymorphism. So what is polymorphism, why we use this? So this is related to inheritance. I will create a separate video for this. So please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video, and thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Bye. Hi friends, welcome back to EcmaScript tutorial series. So we already discussed about the inheritance concept and already published that video, and today I am going to discuss about the polymorphism concept. So basically this is related to inheritance, and I am going to create a new file, that is polymorphism.html, and inside here I am going to write the polymorphism code. So let's add the page title. So basically you can see this is a simple inheritance concept. So the parent class is person and the child class student and teacher, and we are calling the methods, that is the getName method from the parent class, and we are using the age, that is the child class function. Okay, so all we have already discussed in the 16th video of this series. Hope you will see this, and if you don't see, I will recommend you please see the previous video, and it will give you more advantage to understand this video, right? So now if I just go here and we can see the polymorphism. So basically what is polymorphism? The polymorphism is a simple thing, that is the next step of inheritance, and by the inheritance we can achieve these things. Basically polymorphism has two parts. One is overriding and another is overloading. So I'll discuss by this example, and before that we should know what is the difference between overriding and overloading. Suppose we have a function in the parent class. So already we have function, that is the getName, and have another class, that is student, and we are using the function, that is age. If we are just going to access the getName, then we only get output from here. So this is from the parent. So let's see. So just refresh this and just go to the console. We are getting name is John because we are sending the John from the constructor, and we are getting the output. But if we have the same function inside this class also, so child class have the same function like parent function, so that time what will be the call? So these things is basically overriding. So if we just use the same function here and simply just write student name is something, something means which we are passing from the parameter, right? So now if I just going to refresh this, basically we can see we are getting output student name is John, right? So that time you can see when we have same function we are getting output from the child, right? So this kind of thing actually called overriding. That means this new function is actually overriding this parent class function. Okay, and what is overloading? Overloading is something, suppose we have a function that is getName, and let's write another function that is getName, but the difference is in the argument. So inside the argument, suppose I am let's passing one name, that is fname or lname. So by the count of this parameter passing we can identify the function. But the thing is, this overloading concept is not applicable into the JavaScript, right? So these are not actually supported, but the polymorphism is basically two parts, overriding and overloading. Understand? So now the next things, so if I just going to refresh these things, we are getting output from student name is John. But if I still want to access these things, how you can get this? So suppose there are something here in the getName function. So there is some name is this name. So this name is coming from the constructor and we are accessing this. Now I want to print the name is John and student name is John, both things. So how can I do this? So for these things we need to use another keyword. So the keyword is basically the super. Super is the keyword, and after that we can call any super functions, means any parent function. So what is there? So let's use the super getName. That time we can access the parent function also. So let's console this. So simply write console.log and let's close the bracket. Okay, now if I just refresh this, we are getting name is John. This is coming from actually parent class, and student name is John. This is from child class. So if we need something like this, we need some parent property, also the child property. Suppose you are going to access any information. Suppose here in this case there is a person and we are using in two separate class, that is student class and teacher class. So if I just create any properties, that is person have two hands. So these are applicable for both things. But if we create another same function and write student need to send fees. So that time these are not applicable from the teacher class. So the thing is, if I just want to write these things, and for a particular getName function or particular child function, if you write student need to provide fees, and we can call the super function also, so student have two hands, right? So that time we can use these things, right? So if you understand, please comment. And the next thing is, if I just going to add any constructor, suppose we are passing the constructor, and let's use the constructor in both class, then what happens? So if I just going to copy these things and paste it here, and let's see what happened. So this time we will get error, that is must call super constructor in derived class before accessing this. The thing is, inside a JavaScript, whenever we'll call any constructor from the child, always we need to call the parent constructor. So simple, we can use this. So this is the super function, and we don't need to write the constructor, simply just write these things, we can get output from there. So refresh this, the error is gone, but I cannot understand whether constructor is calling or not. So let's console something from the constructor, console log, this is from person class, or you can say this is from the parent class, and simply just write something into the child. So this is from student class. So let's check, if we refresh this, we will get output from both, right? So this is basically the polymorphism, and it's used many cases, and when you are actually going to create any application or going to create any project, that time you will need these things. Basically this is a small concept but very important concept. So hope you like this video. Still, if you have any queries about this video, you can comment me in the below comment section. Next day we are going to discuss about one important things, that is the lexical scope. So what is lexical scope, and how to use the lexical scope, and what is the lexical scope of this, right? So please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Hi friends, welcome back to EcmaScript tutorial series. In this video we are going to discuss about one of the important things, that is a scope concept, or what is lexical scope, right? So basically what is lexical scope and what is lexical scope of this, so we'll know all those things in this video, right? So basically what is lexical scope? So a lexical scope in JavaScript means that a variable defined outside of the function and that can be accessible from inside of the function. Clear? So we are just going to create a variable from outside of the function and we can access from this. So suppose if I, let's take an example, suppose if I create a function, suppose this is function, suppose ABCD or anything, right? And you can see if I just create any variable outside the function, so let's create a variable that is a, right? And suppose assigning a value 12. So the scope of these things is basically from outside the functions, and let's create another variable that is let b equal to 20, and this can be accessible from only inside of the functions. If I just going to display or call the b from outside the functions, that cannot be accessible. So basically this is the scope of b, right? So let's take a good example and try to clear all those points, right? So simply let create data, and here I just going to create some things. Suppose I am passing a name, suppose name equal to John, then I am adding some marks. So right here marks of this student or anything, suppose this person, let's say 10, 20, 30 in this way, right? And let's create a function, so get value, right? And let's create a function, and inside the function just going to console the value. Suppose I'm going to get the output of name. So how we can get this? Simply write console.log and simply write name. Okay, and let's call from outside the function. So simply just call data dot the function name get value. Okay, and actually this is a function and name is from outside of the here, so we can simply use this dot name. Okay, now if I just go here and refresh this, so we are getting John. Now if I just similarly want to access the marks, we can access, so just write this dot marks. So just refresh this, we are getting all the values. Okay, that is simple things. So we can access all those things from these functions by using this. So basically what is this? This actually reference the current object, right? So if I just going to access the marks from the function, we cannot access without this. So let's remove this. That time we cannot get the value of marks because it reference error, mark is not defined, right? So actually we can understand what is marks or from where marks is coming by using the current reference, which is this. So we think in this scope we can get access of all things, but this is not correct actually. So let's say I am going to create these things. Suppose we can access these marks, so let's use the map. So this marks, and I am going to use the map function, and here simply write function, and I am just taking a value. Suppose I am going to access the marks, so simply write here num. Okay, and now I just going to console this thing, so simply write console.log and simply write num. So we are getting access these marks and we are going to print the num. Basically the num is passing from the function, so no problem. So refresh this, we are getting all the value. Now if I just going to access the name in this way, can we print these things? So simply write another console log and simply write name. So can we get access? So if I just going to here, so it's not printing anything, so it's simply just adding the space or something null, right? So why not can use the these also. So basically we are getting access of this from this is the current object, so let's try this thing, but still we cannot get access of this, right? So how we can access this? So in this case we are using the map function. So simply let's create another variable, that is from inside this function let's create another scope. Suppose I am writing suppose name data. Okay, and here I am holding this name, and if I just going to print these things, then we can access, right? So we are getting access of John. So actually this is a map function and this is the 3 parameters, so that's the reason it's coming 3 times, no problem. But the concept is, if I want to access these things, we need to create a variable. So basically we are getting inside this scope and we can get the output, right? But here we are using the EcmaScript, or you can say the advanced JavaScript concept, and we already know about arrow functions, and previous tutorial we already discussed about the arrow function. So why not we use that things? So basically this problem is solved by the arrow function easily. So how can I do this? So simply just go here and remove these things, and instead of that things I am just passing this, right? So this will make actually the arrow function. Basically inside arrow function we cannot find this, right? So these things, this instead we will get all the data from here. So now we don't need to write these things anywhere. So simply just if I just use these dot name, we can get access of these things, so we don't need these things, right? Now if I just go here and refresh this, we are getting the same output. So now we can understand what is actually the scope, or you can say what is actually lexical scope of these things and how to solve this. So in EcmaScript or advanced JavaScript concept, You can use simply arrow function to resolve this problem, and we don't need to write anything, or don't need to create any separate variable to access from these functions, right? So this solves the problem. So this is the arrow function. So hope we will like this video, and still if you have any queries about this video, please comment in a below comment section. So next day we are going to discuss about another some things with related to the functions. Basically we are going to discuss about the math function. So please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video, and thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. So friends, welcome back to EcmaScript tutorial series. So basically in this video I will going to show you some tricky concept or the new things in the EcmaScript. There is some upgradation in math function. So not actually upgradation, actually the new two functions is added in EcmaScript series, and I am going to show you what are the two functions and how to use these and the purpose of all these things, right? So let's take a simple example. So this is my script session. Here I will write the script. So I will just show you first simple JavaScript what actually working, and the new function that is related to the math function. So I am going to show you what are the math function. So let takes a variable, suppose value, suppose I am writing value equal to 50, right? And now I am just simply consoling these things, suppose console log, and just print the value. So let's see how it's appearing. So we all know it will appear the 50, right? And if I now just going to add something, suppose 50.45, and it will display here. So the new functions is the sign function. Means if I want to see what is the sign, that is negative or positive, so if I just make it as a negative number and just refresh this, we are getting the negative. So how we can check this whether the number is negative or positive? Actually this was most awaiting function, right? So we need to check whether the value is negative or positive. Sometimes when you write in logical condition and I don't want to allow the negative number, or I want only the positive number, then we can check this in this way. So how we can do this? Simply we will have a new function, that is the math function. So write here math dot sign, okay, and let's pass the value here and let's refresh this. So it is basically showing the -1. Actually the -1 means negative, +1 or simple 1 is means positive, and if it is 0 that means neutral position. So suppose if I write here simple 0, then we can see this is the 0, right? So that means it is not a positive, not a negative. So if I simply write here 563 or something 60, then refresh this, we can see 1. That means if the value is true, means if the math dot sign is positive, that means it will return 1, or if negative it will return -1. Simple. So in this way we can find these things, right? And now we are discussing about on the integer type number. So let's see if I take any string type function, suppose abcd, simply write this thing abcd and let's refresh this. So we are getting none. That means we can check also whether the value is number or not. If we can get -1 on or 0, that means it is the case for the number, and without number if we pass anything it will provide the none. By these things we can understand this is actually not a number, so we cannot do any operation on these things. So this was the first function that is newly EcmaScript introduced, that is math.sign. Alright, so let's I am going to take the next function. So suppose I am taking another integer, suppose 75, this is the integer. So here I just want to truncate the value or something. So let's see first example, then we can understand. So simply just copy this, and instead of sign the new function is trunc, right? So if we just trunc this, we can see the exact same output. But if I just write here 75 dot something, or sorry, not 0, it will be dot something, then we can get output as a 75. If I still now give any value, that is 75.95, we still can get the 75. That means it's looking just like a floor function. So if I just simply write here math.floor here, also we can get the same output, right? So this is same output. So if I just write something here, suppose 495 or something, that means below 0.5, that means always it will get the 75. That means it will always get the smallest number, right? So the confusion is, what is the difference between trunk and floor? Floor already exists, and why we introduce this trunk function? The thing is, if I just going to display any negative number, suppose let's take a small number so that we can understand it maybe better. So right here -1. Now refresh this, so we can see this is -5 and this is -6. So why? Actually truncate always ignore the value after the decimal points, so it's simply ignoring these things. 0.45 it's ignoring, and it's resulting the -5. But the floor is always take the number which are the least smallest number, right? So -5.45 is the number nearest to 0.6 and which is the smallest value, right? And if I just do in this way, so 0.5.95, still it's get the same output, right? So it is basically the difference between the floor and truncate function. So the new two functions is introduced in EcmaScript, that is sine function and truncate function. Hope you understand this video and you can understand the difference between truncate function and also the floor function. So still, if you have any queries or any doubts about this video, please comment in a below comment section. Next day we are going to discuss about some global functions, right? So that will be the interesting things. There will be a small video, but there are some functions and we will know what is the reason or purpose of that function. So please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Hi friend, welcome back to EcmaScript tutorial series. So in this video I am going to discuss about some functions, basically that is the global function. So why global? Actually we can access that function from anywhere of our application. So inside the script tag we can use this, any place we can write this. So that's the reason it's a global function. So what are the functions? So this is the three functions. So is none, is finite, and is integer, right? So we'll learn about these three things. So what is the basically these things and what is the purpose of these things? So let's take a simple example and all doubt will be clear. So first let's take an example. Suppose let suppose value equal to something, right? Suppose 50, okay? And I am just going to use is none first, okay? So what actually it will return? So let's check if is none the value. So what is the value? The value is value, means my variable is named value. Then I am just going to print console.log and will print suppose not a integer, right? And else write console.log integer. So what is actually is none doing? Basically it will check whether the value is integer or not. So simple, if I just go here and refresh this, we can see this is integer, right? And let's see if I just simply write a b c d or something, then we can understand the difference. So it is basically not an integer. So to check whether the value is integer or not, we can check by this function. Similarly, if I just want to access the is finite, so this is the another function, is finite. So if I just check this finite number, so simply write finite number and let's use not finite number. So I think you know what is the finite and what is not a finite. So let's take the value of this thing, suppose any number, and let's go here and refresh this. So this is finite number. So finite number means anything, right? So any real number. So if I just write this, that time always it will get the finite number. But I am just going to add in a string, suppose abcd or something, then this is actually not a number, so it is not a finite number. That means it is not inside this loop, right? That means the finite number is checking whether the number is actually finite or not. If the number is not finite, then it will go to the else part, right? And the last thing is the is integer. So basically by the name we can understand what is integer. So basically it will check whether the value is integer or not. Okay, and let's take a value, suppose 7 8, and the integer number will always come with this number dot is integer, and let's pass the value. So simply write integer number and not integer number. So generally it will be the integer number. So refresh this, integer number. So if I just add some floating dot 25, so I want to make this number as a floating number, that time it is not an integer number, this is actually the floating number. So these three functions are very important and useful when you're going to do any calculation operation or going to add any condition or validation. That time you will need very much. So I think you will understand this video, and still if you have any queries about this video, please comment in a below comment section. Next day we are going to discuss about one of the important things, that is exponential operator. So how exponential operator actually works, and we will show you with a small example, right? So please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Bye. Welcome back to EcmaScript tutorial series. Today the topic is very small, so I am just going to discuss about the exponential operator. So it is one of the important operator. So generally we did addition, subtractions, multiply, division. These things is exponential, that means the power, right? So let's see how generally we did these things. So let two variable, suppose let a equal to 2 and let b equal to 3. So if I just going to multiply this number, simply write console log and write a b, right? And let's refresh this, we are getting output 6. But this time I am going to show you the exponential, so that means the power, right? So a double star b. So this is the operator, double star operator. By this operator actually it will generate. So the value of a is 2, right? And the value of b is 3. That means 2 will multiply 3 times in this way, right? So actually the output will be 2 into 2 into 2. So let's see, this is 8. 2 into 2 equal to 4. 4 multiplied 2, that means 8. Right? So this is the exponential operator. So now if I just going to take another variable, let's c equal to 4, and I just write exponent of c. So what will be the output? Actually this is the tricky things, and interview will ask these things and you will need these things. So actually this is the concept. So if I now just print the output, so what should do? So let's refresh this. So we are getting this kind of output. That means this is the huge number, so I just want to small the number. So let's say c equal to 2 and refresh. So we are getting 512. So why 512? Actually, if we see the 2 to the power 3, that means 2 into 2 into 2, and then it should multiply again 2 times, means these things into these things. But actually this not happen. Actually the thing is, here it will calculate from right to left, that means in this direction, right? So here actually calculation is happening in this way, a exponential b c. So just refresh this, we will get the same output. But if I just write here in this way, that means a exponent of b, then exponent of c, and inside the bracket I am just going to write a exponent of b. That means a to the power b to the power c. That means here the output will be 2 into 2 into 2, then again this 2, right? So this will be the output. So let's refresh this. So we are getting the defined output, that is 64, right? I think you can understand what is happening, and this is a small concept. So let's say how many you understand this. So please comment in a below comment section, and next day we are going to discuss about the main things. So why we are going to discuss the EcmaScript and what is the advanced concept. So we are going to create a modular concept. So we will create some module in JavaScript and we'll operate all the files and we'll connect each and other things, right? So please like and subscribe the channel for upcoming video. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Hi friends, welcome back to EcmaScript tutorial series. In this video we are going to discuss about EcmaScript module concept. So we have discussed about lots of topics, and this is the one of the vital topic, or you can say this is the one of the important topic of this series. And from this tutorial you will know how exactly the module concept is working and how we can manage and how we can reuse the code like oops. So we have completed oops concept, and today we are going to discuss about that thing with some more advanced level, right? So let's see how it's working, right? So before that we should know some concept about these things. So basically how it's working and what is the purpose of these things. So let's take an example. Suppose you have two files, that is file1.js and file2.js, and inside your file1.js you have some variables, you have some functions, you have some classes, and those are needed from file2.js. Will you write again? No, absolutely no. We are going to discuss about how we can reuse our codes and how to access variable or function or class from one JS to another JS. So for this, in EcmaScript we have an option for export. So basically module can be export and import. So by using these two keywords we can use this easily. So let's take an example and let's see how it's working. Suppose you have some files. Suppose I have just created this. This is the index.html, this is main.js, and this is common.js, and we are creating these things all inside a modules folder. The naming conventions is important, that is the modules folder, and inside here I just write common.js and main.js. So both are actually JS file, and I want to render these things from here. So I want to access this thing. So how you can access? So we need to use the script source tag. So here we want to create some common things. We'll create some variables, some classes, some functions, and we will access that things from main.js, and all things will render from index.html. Okay, so first let's see how we can render a JS file from here. So here simply write the script and here just close this script tag, and inside here I just want to call the source, that is src, and here src will be ./main.js. I want to import the main.js, or I want to use the main.js. So that's simple. The difference is we are going to use the modular concept, so here we need to use another attribute, that is the type attribute. We need to define, we are using the JavaScript and whicher is module, right? So write in this way, spelling mistake, module. Okay, so if you just use these things we can access, right? And another things we need to keep in mind, so if I simply run this in this way, that is the home and my path, that is it will not run, actually the module will not work in this way. So if you want to run any modules, we need to use any server. You can use your WAM, XAMPP, anything, or you can use any servers. Here I want to use a server from Visual Studio Code. Actually I just installed the Visual Studio Code server, that is the live server option. So if you just go into the extension, and here you can see the live server, and I have installed it. So if you just click on uninstall, it will install. So just search here live server and it will appear, and you can install it, so you can use this. Okay, so let's close this. Now the thing is how to run this. So we have to run this index.html using the server. So click on this and open with live server. So these are opening, that is ES6 module, and these are working. So this is the server path, not this. This is the static path from our computer system. So let's use these things, so we'll get output from here, right? So just inspect this. The thing is how we can write this. So let's go to the common.js. So here I just want to create some variables. Suppose let message, and let's say message equal to something. So write ES6 module concept, ES6 module concept. Okay, now we have to print these things from main.js, right? So how can I print this? So simple, just go to the main.js and we can access the message from the common.js. So now just go here and simply write console.log and simple write message. Okay, so I am printing the message. So now if I just run this, will it get any value from here? No, absolutely no. Why no? Because we are using the same module structure. From index.html we are calling the main.js. So if I run these things, it will basically call the main.js. But the thing is, the message is not defined. It will automatically get the error because it's using server, so we don't need to refresh this also. So how can we access this? Here it is getting a concept, that is export and import. So before declaring any variable, if I just use the export, that means it can be accessible from this main.js, right? Now not only main.js, if you create any JS and let's use this message, then you can access these things. So here we just use export, and from common.js we want to get these things from main.js. So simple, so just provide the path. So from where you want to get the access, so need to relate with the common.js. So how we can relate this? So simple, we'll create import, and here we just want to call this, so it will coming from and the same path. So write dot slash and common, right? So we included this thing, that is common.js. And now the thing is, if I just exported this message, and now we can call this from here, right? So if I now just go into the browser and refresh this, we can get the value, that is ES6 module concept. So basically these are coming from common.js. As we are using the export, it can be exportable. So if I just remove this export, what happened? So let's remove this, and you can see does not provide any export named message. So there is no any things with the name message which are exported. So let's use this, and we are getting this. So how cool is that? We don't need to even refresh that things. So this is the concept, and after that, if you just go into any frameworks like Angular or any React, then you can get access of these things and you will relate this. So there you will get this type of modules, and these are automatically refresh your page, will get the automatically data, and it will render the data correctly and with the very fast. So you can see this, how fast is this. Now these are the variables. So if I now just want to create any suppose a function, so let's create a function. So suppose the function is suppose getName, right? And I want to pass a parameter from the argument. So let's take a variable that's name, and here simply write return hello something, that is the name, right? So we know the string literal, so we will not use these things, so just use this backtick, and inside here we will write hello dollar inside the curly braces name. Now we need to call this, so we need to call this from the main.js. So how we can call this? So currently it's not using anywhere, so it will not get any things. So to call this or to access this getName from the main.js, first of all we need to export this. So without export keyword we cannot access from outside of this JS, and here just use the getName. So let's write the getName here and let's call this. So simply just write console.log and print that, and the function name is getName. Actually we are using the getName here, so just write a getName, and suppose I am passing a name. Actually it receives an argument from here, and simply write David. Okay, and if you just go here and refresh this, we are getting, not refresh, so we are getting the output hello David. Now let's create a class and let's see how it's working with this concept. So let's create a class in the common.js and let's see. Simply write a class, suppose any class, suppose my class, and let's inside the my class I'm just going to create any constructor. When we create any object of this class we will get automatically, so we'll use this. So constructor, and inside the constructor just use console.log, and simply just write here this is from constructor, right? And also we need to export these things, that is export, and we can get access of this class. So how you can create this or how can I access this? So simple, just write my class here and let's call this. So how to call this? So let's create an object. So let's obj is my object name equal to new and my class, right? And if you just go into the browser we can see this is from constructor, right? So in this way we can access all the variables, all the functions and all the class from outside of this, right? So now the question is, suppose we have a lots of variable functions and classes or anything, so that time we also can export in this way also. So this is the another way of exporting. So simply write here the message, or simply write my class, or simply write the getName. It's not mean that it will always be in the same order, you can do it any way. So just remove from export here, and these are exporting. So if you just go here and refresh this, still we are getting same output, no problem on that. And another things, suppose if I just want to get in separate ways, suppose let's call this in this way, so we can use these things also. So I just want to simple import the message, we can call it separately, or if I just want to get the name also, so we can call this also. The thing is, if I want to use any resource, suppose I want to use only the message, that time we don't need to import all those things. So it will actually call this message from this JS and only use that thing. So in the command.js there are lots of variables, lots of function. We will not use all those things. We will just only use the things which I want to import. So this is the reason why these things are first, why this is the advanced JavaScript concept, right? And another thing, suppose I am undoing all those things. Okay, so I want to save another things. Suppose there is a get name. Suppose we have another JS, that is common2js, common3js, and there is also a message, and I want to use that message also. So how we going to do this? Simply we can set any aliases. So suppose, so after message we can write as suppose msg, right? Now if you just go to the browser, it will get the error because the message is not known. Now it will call from msg. So just go here and see the error. So message is not defined. So now it will treat as msg, right? Okay, so now it's okay. So this is the another way of importing, right? So this is the overall module concept. So I want to discuss some another features of this modular concept. There is another features to create any default function, right? So how we going to create this default function? So simply write the default keyword and then create a function. So actually default function have no name. Actually just write the keyword, that is default, and let's use anything, that is console.log, and write something. So hi, this is from default function, right? So why this error? The reason is default function will by default as an export. So always a default function should be exportable, and it also can be usable from here also. So to use this default function, so we just go into here and let's import all default, right? And it will come from the common.js, right? And if I just want to print the output, so simply just write all default and it will get the output. Simple. So hi, this is from default function. So basically this is all about the EcmaScript module concept. Hope you will like this video and hope it will be helpful to you. So please comment if you have still any queries about this video, and next day we are going to discuss about the promise concept of EcmaScript. So please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Hi friends, welcome back to EcmaScript tutorial series. So in this video we are going to discuss about one of the important topics, that is a promise. So this is the most important topics and advanced concept in the promise. So what is promise? So promise is basically simple an object in JavaScript. So simply if I can explain this, suppose you and your friend it's decided to go to the cinema hall. Okay, so here the friend is the promise and your friend want to buy the cinema ticket. That means your friend promises you they will buy the cinema ticket. That means we cannot understand whether they can manage to get ticket or not. So here promise resolves the problem. So each case there have a two condition, one is resolve or one is reject. That means if friends anyhow manage to buy ticket, that means he fulfill his promise. So this is approve, or you can say the resolve, right? And if not fulfill, then it will come as a reject. Means every time we will get some answer. So this is simple promise. So why we need the promise? Basically JavaScript follows the synchronous flows. That means whenever they will get any instruction, simply it follows all the instructions step by steps, and whatever it will come first, it will serve the output, means it will process first. So here it resolve that problem by promise. So let's see what exactly problem. So simply this is my script, and let's declare variable. Suppose let var equal to something. Suppose I want to declare var equal to 1. So not var, var is a keyword, so val. Okay, let val equal to 1, and let's console log, right? Simple console log, and let's print this value. Now let's take another. So val equal to, suppose this time the val will be 2, and again I am taking another val equal to 3, right? Let's see how it's appear in the output. So we know, very simple, we will get output that is 1, 2 and 3. Let's assume this process takes too much time. Then what happened? So simple, if I just use simple set timeout function, so set timeout, and let's add some time. So here simply write a closure function, and here just write console log the same output, that is val, and let's provide the time, suppose 3 seconds. Then what happened? So will I get the same output? Let's see. So refresh this, 1, 3 and 3, right? So after 3 seconds we will get the output, that is 3. And just remove these things and let's see what happened. So we are getting 1, and after 3 seconds we will get 2. Okay, now if I just add these things, then we can see it's not behaving correctly. So after 3 seconds we are getting 3, but here the output should be 2. So here I am passing 2, so here that should be output as a 2, but not. So after 3 seconds it will getting the value is 3. That means the value is 1 declared and it's getting output. Then value is 2 is declared, and it's taking the long time to process the output, and in the meantime they got this line number 11, that is val 3 and console log and output 3. So last time what is the value of the val? So we are getting 3, so it's printing 3. This is the problem. This is the big problem. Suppose you are processing a large data, or suppose you are processing with a big calculation, that time we will get this type of problem. This problem solving by promise. So I hope understand what is the problems, why we need promise. So to solve this problem we need promise. So we will learn 3 things: how to create promise, how to fulfill or reject promise. Just like if your friend got a ticket, that means it is approved, or you can say the promise is fulfilled or resolved, and if not get the ticket, that means it will reject, or the friends cannot fulfill their promise, right? So every case promise have 2 things, that is resolve and reject. So let's remove these things and let's see how we can define or how we can create promise. So simply let's create a promise. Let p equal to, suppose, new promise, right? And here it will always come 2 parameters, that is resolve, sorry, spelling mistake, resolve and reject, right? And we know the arrow function, so we'll use the arrow function here, and here inside this we'll create our logics, right? So this is basically the promise structure, and by this new promise syntax we can define our promise. So let's take some example. So here I am doing some operations. Suppose let add equal to 1 plus 1, right? And now I am checking if the add is, sorry, if add is equal to 2, that means it's approved, so it's true, right? If add equal to 2, so the result is always 2. So if this is true, then it is resolved, otherwise it will reject, right? So how we can handle this? So let's use resolve, and inside the resolve just write here success, right? And simply just for checking, just for getting output for better understanding, I am writing this resolve success, and here reject, also here write failed or something, right? So here write failed simply. Okay, so if I get the true result, that means success. So let's handle these things. So how can I handle? So we need to use the generator. So the generator is dot then function. Okay, so here the object name is p dot then, right? So here we will handle these things. So the then is basically handled for resolve case, and for failed we have the cache block, right? So let's handle the success first, right? So then I am setting some message here. So write message, sorry, spelling mistake, message, and let's use the arrow function, and inside here simply write console log, and just write here the message. So what is the variable name? That is message. Okay, now this is true. So if I just go here and let's refresh this, we can get the success. Okay, now if I just change this and let's make it 2, that means 1 plus 2 equal to 3, that means it will not resolve, it will be under reject. That time also just refresh this, we are getting the error, that is uncaught in promise failed, right? We need to define, or we need to handle the reject method also. So for resolve method we need to use the then, and for reject cases we need to use the catch. So here simply write catch, and suppose here let's use error, and just the same way just write here in this way. So simply write console log error, that is error. Okay, you can take any variable, it's just like a closure function, right? So just refresh this, it's spelled. So this is the basic things how to handle the promise, resolve or reject, and how to create the promise. Now the question is, suppose if I want to get the multiple promises. Now think, if we have multiple promise, and then how we'll handle this. So let's take another example. So basically these things are calling the chaining, right? That means if there is something true functions, that means your friend is going to buy a ticket. If they got, then okay, that means resolve. If not got, then what happened? Then I can define another logic. If we not get ticket, then we can take dinner in a restaurant, right? So in this way we can add any condition. If this is true, that means we can do that thing. If false, we can make another promise, or if that is true, then we can resolve that promise. In this way the promise can be worked, right? So basically these things are calling as chaining. So now let's modify this example. Suppose in this case I'm just removing these things. Suppose I am not considering about reject for now, I am simply writing suppose to resolve, and here suppose let's use only for true condition, suppose to resolve, and here I am passing suppose 10, right? Now the thing is, the inside here we are getting, suppose I am taking the val and I am just consoling this val, right? And now I want to increment the value, so I want to return to the promise. So simply just return, and I want to add the addition with the value with again 5. Okay, so then 10, and now it's just going to return to the promise with the addition of value, that is 5. Okay, so in this way, so we can create another things, that is dot then, and inside here we will just write the logic of this. So simply here write the val again, and let's create the arrow function, and then so just write in this way, it will look better. And again just console log, and let's write val, right? And in this time if I just refresh this, we are getting 10, and then add 5, that is 15, and then we can write the same logic again and again, and we can decide what will be the next logic. So here I am adding 5, and here I can also add the 50 also, so it will add the 50 with the addition. So we can see 10, and then added 5, that is 15, and then 50, so it becomes 65. So basically these things are calling chaining, right? So I think you can understand how promise is working. Another topics in the related to the promise, that is the finally. So just like oops concept, if you have any constructor, then we can add these things. So this is the finally. So just write here the finally. So basically finally will always execute. So such time if you want something that will always appear, you can declare in the final statement or final box. So simply write p, that is the object name, and then finally, right? And inside here we don't need to pass any arguments here, and here simply write sorry, the function statement is not correct, so in this way, right? And then write console log has something, so here you can write, so this will be actually the arrow function, and here simply just write promise tutorial, right? And let's refresh this, so we can get the output, that is promise tutorial. So this is the main concept of finally. So if you want any string or anything, if you want, always it will come, then you can use the final statement. The logic is behind the then and catch, so it is basically solve the synchronous problem of JavaScript. So it can handle large data and we don't need to wait for everything. So basically it will get the output as per requested, as per our logic, right? So it will not conflict with the another variables, and it can process the large data as I have explained in previous, right? So I think you will love this video, and please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video. And still if you have any queries about this video, please comment in the comment section. So next we are going to discuss about another interesting topic with the related to promise. So we will discuss about how to fetch API data with promise, right? So please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Hi friends, welcome back to EcmaScript tutorial series. So in this video we are going to discuss about the API concept, right? Last day we have discussed about promise, and this is the next part of the promise. So using promise we will handle all the APIs, right? So this is my HTML file and this is the script section. So here I want to fetch some demo API. So write JSON placeholder. Basically there is some fake REST API, or you can say fake API, and I want to use that API and will show you how to fetch data from the API. So if you just click on this link, basically this is the get link, and just click on that link, we are getting the user's data. So I want to fetch that data from our JavaScript, right? So just copy this, and here I want to show how to fetch data. So for this we have a function that is fetch. So this is the JavaScript function, and using fetch function we can get any output, right? So simply just take inside a variable, suppose let data equal to fetch this, and let's console these things. So if you just console this thing, sorry, console.log, then you will get the output. So this is the promise and this is pending. So basically this is the promise response, and the promise state is fulfilled. So last we have discussed promise have basically two status. it may be resolve, or it may be confirm. So as the promise state is fulfilled, that means we correctly hit the API, we are getting these things, and the status is 200. And we can see inside the body we have a data, right? So readable stream. So for now we to get the output. So how we can get the output? So let's go here, just to remove this, we don't need this. Actually we will use the generator. So basically for success data or for resolve data, we can use the then. So write $then. So using the then function we can catch the success data. So I am creating a arrow function, so arrow, and then just simply write console.log and res, right? And let's refresh this. We are getting some data, some response, that is type equal to course, and here you can see the URL and status 200. So you can see status 200, and inside the header we'll get the header, and also we are getting the body, right? So all are okay, right? And this okay is true, that means it's correctly hit the API. But how to fetch the data? So I want to fetch this data from inside our JavaScript, right? So basically this is JSON data, so we need to convert this into JSON format. So instead of that thing, simple just write res.json. so I have to convert all the data into the JSON format, and in the next step we will get all the results. So just write then and data, right? And what will be the data? So just like our function, just console these things, console.log, and inside the console just print the data. Okay, so here we'll get actual data from the API. So just refresh this. So we are getting the 10 records. So you can see there is 10 records. So if we just go back and can see there is 10 users, so we are getting all the users, and just expand it and we are getting all the things. So right, if you just want to get the particular one record, suppose I want to get the record for Patricia Lepsack, right? So this ID is 4. So if you just simply write /4, then we will get the data for 4 only, right? So we are getting output. So in this way basically we can handle all the API response, and we can call API through the JavaScript, right? So this is the fetch function, and it's basically uses the promises. So hope you will like this video. So please comment if you have still any queries about this video, and next day we are going to discuss about another topics with the EcmaScript. So thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Bye. Hi friends, welcome back to EcmaScript tutorial series. So we are discussing about the EcmaScript promise concept, and after that last we have discussed about the API concept with the promise, right? So we have created these things, and we used some demo API links to fetch some records, and you can see all the records here, right? So basically JavaScript is always a synchronous and single threaded, right? So JavaScript can be make as asynchronous. So in this video I will going to show you how to make that, right? So if you check our last tutorial, so we are using the promise and we are using the links to fetch records. So here you can see all the records, but the thing is we need to resolve this API request 2 times. So we are using then 2 times to get the actual output. So I need actually this type of output. So here we can see all the 10 records of user. So basically this is coming from a dummy API, and for that we are using these things 2 times, right? So in this video I will going to resolve this problem, and I want to show you some advanced things. So we can fetch records, but we can resolve in one go, right? So here we need a concept of asynchronous, right? So asynchronous keyword returns a promise actually. So let's see an example. So suppose let's create a function, suppose function, and suppose my function, right? So this is the function name, my function, my function. And if you just console something from here, write console log and say test, and call this my function from outside of this. So just simply write my function. Okay, so it will call my function, and let's go here. We can see, so if we just refresh this, we are getting the output test. So we all know that things. So now if I just use the async keyword, basically it will wait until the full execution process is done. Now let's use something. So now let's use the same URL. So just copy all those things and also use the fetch, and now just write here fetch, and let's take inside a variable. Suppose let's take a variable, suppose response is the variable, and now let's call this. So just return the response. So simply just return the response. Right now if you just go here and let's see, so we are not getting anything because we are not consoling these things. So let's take a variable in the my function section, so where we are just calling let result equal to my function, and I am consoling these things, console.log res. Right, so now if we just go and refresh this, we are getting a promise, right, and its state is fulfilled. That means it's a resolved promise and there is no error, means there is no rejection. So it's fulfilled the promise. That means it always resolved. Right, now in the last video, if we just check, we are using first we are resolving, and in that section we are returning the value in the JSON format, and then we are getting the output. So same things we will do here also. So inside the response, actually I just want to make this response as in JSON format, and here I will resolve that things in one go. So now if I just refresh this, we are getting the uncaught promise. Right, so we are returning actually the promise, and we need to resolve this. So how you can resolve this? So here we have not used the handle, or you can say we cannot handle the resolve, that the reason the error is appearing. Now just go here and simply write result. So what we actually getting in all of my function section, result res, then to resolve any promise we to use then, and here let's take a variable, suppose item, and here just use the arrow function, and inside this we just consoling the item. Right, so cut this and paste it here, and let's print the item from here. Right, now if I just go here and let's check, there always will be a error because it's still uncaught promise. The thing is, when we use this thing, we need to use the await function or await keyword into here. So simply write await, await. So this is the another keyword, so actually spelling mistake, await, await. Right, and now refresh this, will get all the records just like previous. Right, so the advantage is we don't need to resolve these things two times and we are getting the same output. Basically this is the same concept, but this is some advanced concept. Right, so hope you will like this and hope you can understand this video, and still if you have any queries about this video, please comment in a below comment section, and next day we are going to discuss about another topic on EcmaScript. Right, so we'll continue this series until we complete all the topics. So please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Bye.